So I've always kind of had what, people would refer to as an addictive personality. I've always been kind of like obsessive. I get, just real extreme into certain subjects and topics, and I will just like my laser focused obsessive. And, kind of like a workaholic. And in some ways, this has been a blessing because it's, allowed me to, succeed in businesses and creating businesses and many accomplishments throughout my life. But in other ways, this has caused me to, lead into destructive behaviors and have to battle with various different addictions throughout my life. And I never really understood why until I got older. I mean, I battled with, gambling addiction. Was a daily chronic marijuana smoker for a long time, porn and masturbation, food addiction, being a compulsive and binge eater, and many other destructive habits as well. I had no problem being a closet addict type of person with my destructive behaviors. And as I got older and started to learn and research more, I learned that really the root behind all addictions is pain. Is that humans are pain avoiding, pleasure seeking creatures, and so I would find myself seeking for ways to be able to mask the pain, to escape, and that would show up in the form of excessive work or various different destructive types of addictions that I battled with. And so as I, grew, I've always been into self-development and personal development, and so I knew and discovered that, some of these behaviors and addictions I had to let go of if I wanted to become the best versions of myself. But what would happen is that as I would, get rid of habits, even when I did, I would still find myself not at peace, and I would still have this feeling of not enough. And that's why a lot of times I would end up transferring from one bad addiction or bad behavior to another, and had to deal with things like being really passive aggressive and anger issues that caused a lot of problems for me in my life. And so many times it was like I would be juggling bad habits, bad addictions. I would quit one and I would jump from one to another and then go back to another and so forth, and it was kind of like insanity. But I never give up. I continued to learn, research, and study. And about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, I discovered Wim Hof and the Wim Hof method. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Wim Hof, after this video, you definitely gotta, dive in and do some research about this guy. I mean, this guy has basically defied science, like bending reality with what he's able to do. I mean, he climbed Mount Everest in his shorts. He ran a marathon through one of the hottest deserts in the world without any training, without even taking a sip of water the whole time. He swam in freezing cold water underneath glaciers, in water that scientists say is supposed to like give you hypothermia and kill you instantly. He's been able to submerge himself into ice water, freezing cold water, and have scientists hook up probes and things too, and be able to test and discover that he's able to raise the temperature of his skin while being submerged in freezing cold water. He's been able to be injected with neurotoxins, poisons into his body, to his bloodstream, well under the observation of scientists, and been able to neutralize the toxins and the poison, which is like not even supposed to be possible at all. And the unique thing about him is that he wanted to prove to the world, which he has done, that he's not just an alien, not just something that just like landed here in a spacecraft, someone that is totally unique and special powers and gifts. He wanted to prove to the world and replicate his doings. That what he says is that it's not a matter of special abilities. What it comes down to is just a matter of training, and that those that take the time to learn the ancient techniques of the breathing techniques, the deep breathing exercises, and the mindset are able to accomplish, superhuman-like feats. And he even says, that he isn't really the one who has invented these breathing exercises. This is, ancient knowledge. He's just brought it more to the mainstream through the incredible feats that he's accomplished and the recognition through the media. But he created a course called the Wim Hof method. And now many people that many students that he's trained and that have gone through his courses and seminars have now been able to replicate this achievements like that he has accomplished. You know, being able to submerge himself in freezing cold water and raise their skin temperature, and many and break physical, running records and working out records. So by going so immediately when I found out about his course, I was like, when I learned about this guy, I was just like, what? He has a course and he teaches how to learn this stuff? I was like, if I could even learn like 10%, of what this guy knows, I mean, this would take my life to another level. And so I've always been into self-improvement, self-development. I have no problem investing money into things that I know that are going to help me to become a better person. So I bought the course, and I didn't realize how much it was going to change my life. I started implementing and practicing the breathing exercises and the various different exercises and stretches that he teaches, and it was just amazing. I mean, for those that have experienced it and practiced the Wim Hof breathing exercises, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you get this incredible natural high. I mean, your blood, what happened is your blood is alkalizing, and all of a sudden your body gets all warm and tingly. And that's why it's actually also referred to as DMT meditation, because as you're doing it deep, you can literally start to hallucinate like a psychedelic experience. And I've experienced that many times where, I've been going really hard. And then all of a sudden at the end, I'll go into a meditation and boom, it's like I'm seeing shapes and colors and, and just like going through a wormhole. And I'm not alone in that. I'm in the private group, and and so a lot of other people, we've discussed the different, visions that we've seen. And the beautiful thing about it, it's all natural. It's not from a drug. And it's that sensation and the euphoria you're feeling is from your blood and your body alkalizing, the inflammation being reduced. And what is happening is that you're beginning to tap into the alchemy of your own body. You see, your body is really like a chemistry set. And so why is it important to to be able to understand how to control the chemistry and the alchemy of your own body? Well, most of our lives are dictated and ran by our emotions. And most people's emotions are haywire. That's why many people make so many bad decisions over and over. It's like they can't even control them. They go back to this toxic relationship with this person that they know they shouldn't be with, but they go back to them again and again and again. Why do I keep doing this? Or, they try to quit drugs or alcohol and they go back, they relapse, or, even though they know that they shouldn't be eating this food, they do it anyway because it's going to feel good now. And it's going to give them those feel-good emotions now. All we're really after is a feeling. And so as pain-avoiding, pleasure-seeking creatures, we like to seek pleasure experiences and run away from pain. And a lot of times that can come up in the form of destructive behaviors if that's what is most convenient. And so what the Wim Hof breathing exercises does is it allows you to become in control of your own alchemy, become the alchemist of your own body. And what that does is it allows you to be in more control of your emotional state. And if you're in more control of your emotional state, then you're going to have a more intentional life. That what you set out to do, you're going to be able to be more likely to commit because of the fact that you're not going to get swayed off path due to emotional variances, and you're going to have more peace in your life, more happiness. A lot of the reason why people are, when it comes to depression and mental illness, it's due to chemical imbalances. Again, the human body is like a chemistry set, and so as you learn how to become the alchemist of your own body, you can become more in control of that. And so now, it's been fast forward 2 years. The Wim Hof method is a part of my daily life. I mean, I now practice it, every single day. And it's, no matter what, I don't skip a day. I absolutely love it. Even if I only have, a little bit of time, no matter what, something is always better than nothing. I want to get my breathing exercises in because I've noticed that much of a difference. And, it just kind of become like a part of my life, and I never really thought about, the major changes that I've had over my life. But as I started to reflect back over the past 2 years, I started to realize, like, wow, you know what, I've really kind of shifted as a person. Some of the big, changes that I've noticed in my life is that I'm no longer seeking these, I'm no longer constantly seeking to run away from pain towards destructive behaviors, bad habits. I've let go a lot of addictions. I mean, I live a sober life now. I don't drink. I don't smoke. For those of you guys that follow my journey, I've given up a lot of bad habits, and I live and I've slowly but surely live a clean and sober life. I used to find myself after work, or especially on a Friday or Saturday or Thursday or sometimes Wednesday, like, oh gosh, I could really use a beer, just to kind of relax. But I don't feel like that anymore. Everything that we do is because we're chasing a feeling, and I don't have that. I've noticed now that I'm more in peace with my life, that I don't need to seek these external stimulants in order to feel good. I feel, through daily conditioning, I've conditioned myself to feel good all the time, and I now consistently feel very at peace in my life. I've noticed that I've shifted from being an externally driven person to an internally driven person. I used to, always, be very externally driven. I wanted to be, multi-millionaire, zillions of YouTube subscribers so that everyone see how great I was, and I wanted to have, fancy this and fancy that. Not saying that there's really anything wrong with that, but now my mindset has totally shifted. I've shifted from being an externally driven person to an internally driven person, where I'm no longer attached to any of those things. I mean, I really don't care if I become a multi-millionaire or not. I mean, it may happen. Hey, if it does, I'll be grateful for it. But even if it doesn't, even if I just end up, living in a van down by the river, I could be just as happy, because I've learned how to create that amazing sensation and how to create happiness, and I've learned that I don't need any of that stuff. I've learned that I'm not as attached to all those external type of goals. As grateful for I am for all my subscribers and things like that. Even if I lost all my subscribers, it's okay. I'm not attached to that. I don't need that ego fulfillment. And I think a lot of that has come from balancing out my chemistry in creating peace, which I feel a lot more peaceful in my life. I used to be a lot more passive aggressive, and I was the type of person, I would get into an argument with my family or friends or sister or mom, and I'd fly off the handle. And not only would it fly off the handle in the moment, but it would bother me sometimes for days, when it would just I would just feel so uptight and upset, about it. Where now, yeah, things do happen in my life. I'm human, things do upset me and so forth, but I get over them very quickly. I know if I catch myself getting upset, I will stop and I'll do, just a short version of the breathing exercise to rebalance myself, reset my neurological system, and I feel better. And also my health, my health, I used to, again, eating was kind of a way for me to escape. And so now I more consistently eat healthy all the time. I don't have that compulsive urge to eat, to hide my emotions or to binge out. I would binge out until I felt like I was going to die, and then that was just round one, and I would just keep going and going until I felt like I was going to be like, even I know I'd feel like drunk the next day, but again, it was kind of like those were ways to hide my emotions, even though it was just temporarily, where now I find myself, consistently staying healthy, maintaining good weight, not needing to find, a release in the form of food. My immune system, is great. I mean, I haven't been sick over the past 2 years at all. I don't get the flu shot, anything like that. I always have great energy. I get up early every single day. I work out hard. I'm always around other people. And so my immune system, it's been proven that breathing exercise is one of the most effective ways to increase your immune system and to improve your immune system. They now have had, through studies, proved that people are able to heal faster through breathing exercises, and that people are able to heal from diseases and sicknesses faster through breathing exercises than by taking pharmaceutical drugs. They've had studies now that have proven that breathing exercises are more effective at treating depression and PTSD than by taking antidepressants. And you know what the beautiful thing about it is that breathing is free. I mean, this isn't a supplement that you got to buy on a monthly basis or anything, and this isn't anything that takes a significant amount of work. I mean, this is something you can fit into your life in just a couple of minutes a day. Another thing that I also wanted to share is that I've noticed that I've been a lot more focused. I've always been kind of like ADD brain, get distracted, but by doing the breathing exercises every single day, I noticed that, you know, I'm a lot more focused. I'm more calm. My emotions a lot of times would be like a roller coaster, where now I'm just more calm, I'm more focused, and when things happen, business things, whatever, I'm able to pull myself back down. And so now I stayed a steady, peaceful state, you know, which is great. And so, you know, I couldn't recommend this enough. It's been one of the single most impactful things that I've ever utilized in my life is, you know, doing the Wim Hof course and learning the breathing exercises. If you think about it, you know, very few people intentionally take time out of their day to, you know, practice deep breathing exercises. I mean, very few people do that. And actually, there's now different arguments and things coming out saying that maybe that's the reason why exercise is so beneficial. It's because of the fact that it's one time that forces you to do deeper breathing. Like when you're running, you know, obviously you got to breathe more. And so there's now new studies and arguments saying that, hey, maybe this is the reason why exercise is so good, is because it's one way to force you to get, to actually breathe better. But when you do this course, you're going to be blown away. You know, I mean, you can do your own research on, you know, on the benefits that people have received from going through the Wim Hof course. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it almost seems like miraculous. You know, how people have been able to heal broken bones faster and twice the speed. You know, I remember I saw one girl, she had got burnt by fire, I believe, and how she healed it so fast with the breathing exercise. Her doctor was like, what in the world, blown away. I mean, just so many of them. I mean, from depression, people who are suicidal, addictions, drug addicts, alcoholics, skin issues, joint issues. I mean, you name it, just goes on and on and on. Breathing is, you know, one of the best, is the best vitamin. If you think about it, you know, you can go, you know, a long time without food, you can go days without water, without air, you know, and oxygen. Breathing, you can't go very long. So, you know, breathing and oxygen is the number one most important supplement that you should be taking in your life. And most people never take time out of their day to intentionally do deep breathing. And as you do this, and as you learn how to do it properly, then, you know, you're going to find more power in your workout. You're gonna be able to find yourself being able to do some pretty incredible things that you weren't able to do before. You know, you're gonna find yourself getting more flexible. That was something that I found was pretty incredible, how I got more flexible. I've always been pretty stiff and not flexible, but immediately after doing even just one session of the breathing exercises, you will find that all of a sudden you're like way more flexible than you were just you know, right before doing it. You know, I could go on and on and on, so I'm not going to talk forever, but I'll do another video where, you know, I share more how the techniques, how I incorporate it into my daily life, and in different situations like that. But for those who have, you know, experienced it and practiced the Wim Hof breathing exercises, or, you know, have any kind of testimonial from breathing exercises, please, you know, share your testimonial below so that other people can see. You know, of course, you can all do your own research and watch tons of videos on the net about, you know, all the many incredible benefits and testimonials. But, you know, if you have any questions or comments, comment below. I definitely urge you to start taking your breathing seriously and make it a part of your day, because you're in for a treat. And until next time, guys, let's make it a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.